PTF and JK back with you on the In the Money Media YouTube channel. So happy to bringing you more content brought to you by our friends at DK Horse. Download the DK Horse app today. Here today to talk about the Preakness Top 5, JK. And we're going to start off with a horse. There's still a little bit of a will he, won't he run in this situation, but there's a real chance he will. If he runs, he'd be number 1, but because he might not run, we'll put him at number 5. What do you have to say about journalism?
Yeah, I mean, he is who I thought he was. He ran extremely well in the Kentucky Derby. He had a little bit of trouble early. I don't know if he was necessarily beating Sovereignty in that spot, the way that Sovereignty ran on the day, but he is who he thought he was. He's got a grade 1 with his name on it. If he runs in the Preakness, I think he'll win. If he decides to skip and wait for the Belmont, I think he'll probably win. I think he's going to win one of these next 2 races. We'll see where he shows up.
Interesting. That is a longer conversation for a different show about taking him into the teeth of Sovereignty again. But we're not going to do that in this one. But what you should do, if you're interested in that type of conversation, subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. Also, leave us a comment. Let us know who your top pick for this year's Preakness is. Had a lot of fun going back and forth with listeners in there. In the Money Media YouTube channel, right down there. Hit that subscribe button. Number 4 on the list. This one's a wild card, JK. Heart of Honor. This is the horse that was second to Admire Daytona in the UAE Derby. And while Admire Daytona did not do much for that form, I wouldn't get too dismissive of this horse. This is the trainer, Jamie Osborne, that brought us Toast of New York about 10 years ago, who had loads of success on these shores. I'm going to just say it. Should have been promoted to victory in that 2014 Breeders' Cup Classic. Jamie Osborne knows what it takes to ship and win. Great story here, too, with his daughter, Safi, in the iron. She's a very good jock. And recent comments from Osborne suggest Heart of Honor might be getting good at the right time. I'm including him in my wagers in this year's Preakness at a price. Are you buying what I'm selling?
I love the sporting nature of it, but I'm not going to be cutting in line to bet this horse. He's a horse that could probably get involved, spice up the exotics, and I'm assuming that with the news that we probably buried at the top of this, that Sovereignty will not be running in the Preakness, I would assume that that was a kind of a late audible, a little Omaha. Let's go over there and see if we can't pluck a grade 1 classic on dirt.
I think they were honestly, they had the opportunity to run in the Derby, and I think they decided Preakness was the way to go. Maybe just thinking this is a little bit easier of a test. We'll get to that same concept in a horse in a minute, but I want to go to number 3 on the list right away. That's Gosger. This is the horse that won the Lexington Stakes. Bullard, who was in there behind him, also going to be turning up here. I don't think he quite has the credentials at this point to make the top 5, does Bullard, but as a horse that spent so much time on our In the Money Media top 10 for the Derby, I figure I have to give him a call at least. But let's get back to Gosger. This horse had a clean trip in the Lexington. I love the way it's set up for him on paper there. He delivered. Can he step it up now against the big boys?
The Lexington is no Preakness, but I like Brendan Walsh. I think he does a great job. I thought Gosger ran well enough in that race. He's going to have to run faster. He's going to have to improve. But like you've heard us say for the last 4 months, these 3-year-olds can get better overnight. So there's an opportunity for him to improve. He's more of an underneath type for me if some of the big dogs show up, but he definitely deserves to be in this race.
Number 2 on the list is River Thames. Got the big form boost from Sovereignty. If you look back at that Fountain of Youth run, Todd Pletcher had a quote about him wanting to be a fresh horse, and that may be giving him an advantage. Another one, not unlike Heart of Honor, ultimately more or less decided to skip the Derby to come run in the Preakness. The fact that it's a tactical decision, I like that. And I think that's interesting. My own personal handicapping, I feel like he might be better going shorter. I don't argue that he deserves his chance, but doesn't he look like a perfect turnback to you, JK?
Well, Pete, it sounds like you're talking about Owen Almighty, who ran 5th. I think River Thames is a much more talented horse than Owen Almighty. He somehow overcame it. And we talked about this in our post-race thoughts, that I believe that talent sometimes can overcome a horse's willingness to go as far as they will. I think River Thames, especially with the way, like you mentioned, Sovereignty ran, the way that Burnham Square ran, the way that East Avenue ran, I think he's been surrounding himself with a nice strength of schedule, and he is one that I would consider for sure.
I like the strength of schedule comparison. Yeah, for those that don't know, Owen Almighty, a horse we both tabbed as one that was going to thrive on the turnback, ended up running a hole in the wind in the Kentucky Derby. Let's get to number 1 on this list. It's Rodriguez. This is a horse that was meant to run in the Kentucky Derby, had a very tiny foot bruise, apparently. Owners said they were going to scratch out of the Derby out of an abundance of caution, and it gives them a chance to get Bob Baffert his umpteenth Preakness.
Yeah, look, I didn't really talk about this much because I was so in love with sovereignty and with journalism. And if Baeza were to get in, I thought he had a really good chance. He was the one that I saw being able to handle it. But when I did all of my work, Rodriguez was right on the outside looking in. I just never could get over the hump of him overcoming a sovereignty, a journalism, a Baeza, and an East Avenue. But guess what? Those horses aren't running in this race. So now I can fully digest the fact that I think he ran extremely well in the Wood Memorial, and he is definitely the horse that I'm going to be building a lot of things around at this point already in the 150th Preakness.
Get ready. Next week, we're going to have our final answers Preakness show on here. We'll be going through the late pick 5. We're going to have a ton of other content on the audio side as well. If you listen to podcasts, sign up for the In the Money Players podcast, wherever you get your pods. In the Money Media channel. We're going to have loads of content coming down here. It's Triple Crown season. The faucet is on. Let us know what you think in the comments. PTF and JK will be back real soon.